All right, it is Monday, August 19th at 6 p.m. Call our meeting to order and start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, next on the roll call.
Simonson.
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
Hollister.
Yes.
Coolman. Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Okay, next is the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Collister,
Second.
seconded by Alinger. We have no discussion, take the roll.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
Hollister.
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
All right, item 5 is public participation. Do we have anyone in the audience who wishes to address the council? Okay, anybody on Zoom? If not, we'll move on. Item 6, we have no presentations. Item 7 is a public hearing. And it's a public hearing on proposed conveyance of property to the Maquoketa Community School District. Anybody wish to address us about that?
Mayor, Council, we do have a couple visitors here tonight regarding this topic. I would welcome them to the podium, so I'll just kind of, as I have before, provide some background on this and invite them to speak if they wish. This is a transaction officially with the school district for the subject land listed on page 2 of your agenda and vacates North Decker Street out to Apple Street. It's the north half of Little Bear Park. The city would retain the southeast corner of the property for park purposes and keep that. And this is entirely the footprint that would be needed for the Briggs expansion and probably has some inevitability behind it. But the school's use as planned as a parking lot on the north side of the image or the imagery that you'd see with open green space for kids. At this point, the transaction has been a really cooperative one. It's had a couple challenges and we've been able to work through it. Namely, I know that we've had some discussion about keeping as many mature trees as possible and what to do with proceeds of sale when they occur, if they occur. I'll take any questions if you might have them. Otherwise, the public hearing can remain open for comment.
Is that gonna be a road there? What's gonna happen to that driveway on that property on the?
No, it's a good question. And that, in the image here, you see a 20-foot access easement. And Mr. Schwanker has been, he's been at the public meeting that I was at regarding the planning. So 2 parts to this. First answer is the vacated Decker area isn't going to be completely filled in. At some point, there's a slight rounded curve and a continuous north-south drive there so that bus traffic and school traffic can direct in that way. The school's still completing their traffic study, so I can't say with absolute certainty what the vehicles are going to do, nor would I be comfortable here, but there was a description given to Mr. Schwanker last week. In speaking with Mr. Schwanker about what to do with, well, it was a surprise to me, but it was one that was solvable, is they would like to keep 316 North Decker Street as their address. So how do you legally make that possible? And that put Tara Notes, superintendent, and I into kind of some discussion with our city attorneys on this. And there were 2 options presented to us, and one was basically splitting Decker Street in half and vacating half of Decker Street, or proceeding as is in this agenda, and then following up by resolution, maybe even next meeting or the meeting thereafter once this is all complete, with a request written from the Schwankers requesting that 316 North Decker Street remain their address. So that's given to the post office and emergency services when they need it. So there are 2 options and viable paths presented to the city and school, and this is really kind of the position we ended up in that seemed the most simple. And as strange as all this description has been described to you, Judy and I think, kind of put on the thinking hat that if someone is looking at this paperwork 30 or 40 years from now, which is the least curious, and this might be the way as it's currently designed. And that easement that's in the image on page 2 on the upper side, that's already in place. So it's my understanding that that easement is there entirely for Mr. Schwanker's address and will continue to be. And if it's not, I'm sure the school district will refile and put it to 30 or 40 feet, whatever the case may be.
Does that 20 feet get to that driveway? You have to come up to the podium.
My Bill, you'll need to come up.
I used to be on this side. I honestly am not sure about that. I think it's probably has to go a little bit further than 20 feet. It's 100 and from property line to property, edge of the property is 133 feet. So and that's only taken in, so you're still, 113 feet to go, which our driveway is, I'm sure is beyond that 20 feet. So that was a little bit of a question I had for Josh about that. We looked at that. The more I studied it, it's probably not far enough.
Well, there's no way, that driveway's halfway through, and if it's 133 feet.
So
I mean, that
that,
would be my
can't speak-
concern with it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for the school district, but I can't imagine them not adjusting the easement as needed.
because I know, if I may, when we had that three of us conversation the other day, Tara did make it sound like everything was gonna be fine with the driveway. It wouldn't be an issue. But as it's drawn out right here, that it is an issue. So there maybe needs to be another conversation with her, or this is, this probably isn't like it should be. There should be more than 20 feet. But
I mean,
they
I'm
did,
not comfortable with it, and it's not my driveway.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that would piss me off.
Well, it's, I've been a part of the school district before, and I just gotta kind of watch what I say. So there's things that have gone on that we're not really happy about, but we try to be good folks and try to communicate with others about things, but let's just say things are probably not as clear cut as they need to be in this regard. And I think that's something we'll have to visit with her about, maybe include Josh. But 20 feet is not gonna be enough, let's put it that way.
Are we on some time schedule for this, if it were to get tabled?
No, there's no hard deadline, and so I would say if this is the desired ask of staff, that you table that ordinance tonight, and possibly the resolution too. But if there's easement issues to clean up, I'm fairly confident in saying they'll get them cleaned up.
I just wouldn't want to sign off on something without it being in writing.
Sure.
Like, to me, that's not fair to them.
I agree.
I think it's a fair request, but we should have it cleaned up and all the i's dotted and t's crossed.
Clear and concise.
Yeah, if there's some issues that are not clear to you and your family, make sure that those get resolved before it comes back to you.
Well, thank you for that. And the address change is, the 316, we just hope doesn't get changed, and it doesn't sound like it's going to. So, which is great, because I think we all realize if that happens, all of us wouldn't want anything like that for ourselves. So if they're willing to work with us on that, then I think we're in pretty good shape otherwise, but the easement issue will probably have to be resolved for sure.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Motion to close the public hearing?
Motion by Colister to close the hearing, seconded by Rickrell. We have no discussion, take the roll.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Okay, next we have a public hearing on the proposed vacation of a portion of North Decker Street. Anybody have anything they want to say about that?
Move to close the public hearing.
Got a motion by Lyon to close the hearing,
Second?
seconded by Colister. If there's no discussion, take the roll.
Colister.
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
Okay, item 8 is our consent agenda, consisting of the minutes from the July 22nd goal-setting meeting and the August 5th, 2024 regular city council meeting. We have bills payable through August 19th, 2024 in the amount of $1,321,041.36. Our regular July financials and the renewal of a Class C alcohol permit filed by the Copper Cardinal.
Spending some money, huh? So moved.
Motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Bennett. If we have no discussion, take the roll.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item 9 is old business. Item A is Ordinance number 1222, an ordinance amending the official zoning map of the City of Maquoketa, Iowa for certain property known as 1204 German Street and 1206 German Street in Maquoketa as legally described herein, and this is the second reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Colister, seconded by Lyon. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Josh?
I don't. We haven't received any further comments from our last meeting, and I'm not aware of any at all. So unless you have something, I don't have anything extra in the next couple.
Okay, well, with that, then take the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item B is ordinance number 1223, an ordinance amending the official zoning map of the City of Maquoketa, Iowa for certain property known as 500 East Summit Street and 413 South Madison Street, along with 416 South Clark Street in Maquoketa, Iowa, and legally described herein. And this is also the second reading.
So moved.
Motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Rickrell. Any discussion? If not, take the roll.
Simonson,
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item C is ordinance number 1224, an ordinance correcting ordinance number 1117. And this is the second reading.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Bennett.
You're up. Ellinger.
Oh, Ailing, okay. Well, you guys sound alike tonight.
You gotta raise your hand. Sorry.
Do we have any discussion on this? Take the roll.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. We made it to item 10, new business. A is an ordinance regarding golf carts, and this is our first reading.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, and probably some of the main excitement tonight is an ordinance for golf cart use. And so as you may recall, we had a 2022 consideration. We put it away. It ended up in our codification revision, and we started down a path and received some comment to reconsider this, and we punted to the Public Safety Committee to take a look at some options. First ask was we handed out about 5 or 6 different cities as ordinance regarding this topic, just almost like a homework task, and kind of looked at some main street prohibitions that we wanted to include. And so over the course of 3 meetings, the ordinance in your background is what was produced, with the main highlights being on this page 5 here. We ended up in a spot, I think, where we took recommendation of an insurance agent to include at least $100,000 in liability. We have 18 years of age or greater, possessing a driver's license. Absolutely no alcohol consumption or open container anywhere in the golf cart. Some restrictions from sunrise to sunset, as well as some equipment requirements as well. And so what you don't see is an application yet, in which there's other cities that have good applications, but it's our intent as staff to produce an application that is more or less an affidavit that they will comply with whatever the chapter this will be titled, but also the police department simply just say at this date and time, the applicant is in compliance with the ordinance as designed. And it doesn't necessarily pin down the officer, but it also just certifies the staff that they're good to go ahead and make payment, receive registration as a result of. So I'm hoping that this is as palatable as possible to the city. I'm not sure it'll be having any sort of 100% buy-in, and I would encourage anyone that has issues with golf carts behaving or traveling unsafe, that it's dealt with at the police department level. Otherwise, I think this is ready to go for council consideration after Public Safety Committee, and I turn it over to the Public Safety Committee for any further comments on what you've understood so far.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by, seconded by Rickrell. And if we have no more discussion.
I want to just talk
Oh, yeah,
about,
go ahead.
I mean, kudos to public safety, because I've read this ordinance through a couple times today. I think it's really well written. It covered a lot of the concerns I had. I'm getting a lot of concerns from citizens about, there are people driving ATVs in town that don't have the little DNR sticker on the back. They swear that they complain, and nobody does anything about it. There is sort of this overall perception in the community that the city isn't interested in enforcement. of these sorts of things. I mean, whether it's vehicular or, you know, people with messes in their yards or whatever. So it's just a perception that's out there that I think we need to combat a little bit. But I like the fact that the sticker is going to be in the middle of the SMV sign. I think that's, you know, you can't miss it, where the little DNR sticker is a little bit hard to find sometimes, but I think that's something, if we're gonna do this, then we really do need enforcement. You know, if we see somebody out there, they don't have the sticker, we see a kid operating it. I'm seeing a lot of ATVs with kids not driving them, but kids riding in them that would have to be in a car seat if they were in a car. But for some reason, they're in you know, an ATV, then it's just absolutely fine to have a 3-year-old climbing all over the front seat. So those are the kind of things that it concerns me, probably concerns the chief as well. And kind of beyond this, probably in the last 10 years, there's been all these new ways to get around town. You see scooters and unicycles and skateboards that are all powered by little electric motors zooming around town. And, you know, what's allowed, what's not allowed is not clear, I don't think, to anyone. So, you know, maybe that's another thing for public safety to look into, but like, you know, are these things all allowed on the city? If they are, do they need to be registered? Can they be on the sidewalks? Can they, you know, where do they need to be? I think there's no clear direction to PD on, like, what do you do when you see somebody zooming, you know, on the wrong side of the street on a push scooter that's powered? Is that good? Is that okay? You know, I don't know. So that's my only concern, is that in my neighborhood, I routinely see little kids driving golf carts. And they go round and round my neighborhood. Sometimes they're very cautious, other times they're not, you know. So I just have concerns about all of these vehicles. We had 2 little kids in those little cars, battery operated cars, go by my driveway as I was backing out the other day. If I didn't have a backup camera, I might have ran right into them. No adult supervision. They went down the street, took a left, and went down the hill. And I was like, that's just crazy that these kids are under the age of 5 and they're driving these little cars on the street. You know, like, you know, what do you do? You know, who do we call? How do you report that?
It was reported and the mother was behind them.
Okay.
So they were my kids.
Okay.
And I was in front of them and their mother was behind them.
Okay. Well,
So-
I didn't see anybody.
Oh, I
within a
saw it
block
on
purview.
Facebook and I got,
Okay.
and it
So
was addressed because the officer came and talked to my wife.
because I was concerned about like that. I
Everyone
could've
that
backed out of
says
my
they were
driveway.
concerned, no one decided to stop the kids. That's what kills me. But I was in front of the kids and Brooke was behind the
But
kids.
it's not the first time, and it's not just.
Yeah,
your
no, and I
kids.
get it, but this situation I know
But
because it hit
it's-
Facebook, so.
So all of these situations concern me. So my only thing is, if we're gonna do this with golf carts, we've gotta enforce it. And then I think there's some work to be done on the rest of these things that are out there about what's allowed and what's not.
Well, I think Chief has heard you tonight, and I will say only that, how was that called? The American Bicyclist League or something, I forget, it's 10-plus years ago, but I was sent to on behalf of our police department to train children or whoever, even adults, how to ride a bicycle in their adult age, and the number of statistics out there that talk about roadway operations being a lot more safe than sidewalks statistically. I just kind of want to give at least some assurance for what it's worth, that road use is actually safer than sidewalks, because people are pulling up to the stop line with half their car past the line, or trees blocking a bicycle going down, and it just gets really nasty at those intersections on sidewalks, and that's really kind of the main cause. But you know, I think that we should take a look at that. I just wanted to give at least some assurance here that the most technical spot to be safe is actually on the road, because drivers are expecting to see things on the road, not the sidewalks. And we've addressed that in a powered scooter that was going down sidewalks last year, and he's corrected that behavior, but we'll keep fighting it.
I just want to add one thing. I'm clearly not in favor of there being golf carts riding around in the city. However, it looks as though we're going to have them. And that's why I put a lot of effort into the Public Safety Committee and trying to find an enforceable, pretty cut and dried set of rules for these people to follow if they're going to have them. Enforcing them, well, sorry, Brendan, that's yours.
Yeah, to Mark's point and Dick's point, times are changing. You have electric scooters that probably legally are not supposed to be on sidewalks, and that's something that we have to look at and watch, but there's numerous towns that have golf carts, the ATVs, the UTVs are ripping around town. You're exactly right, Mark, but hopefully maybe a warning or two of slowing down, maybe that'll help, but there's also a point, to Josh's point, there's a lot of neighborhoods in town that don't have sidewalks that maybe the pedestrians should be on instead of in the streets, so it's also one of those things that people complain that they don't have, they're in the streets, but there's not a sidewalk there, so several different areas of concern that are valid points, so.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I would like to mention the fact that I'm not real thrilled with all the different things that are going on in the streets, but I am absolutely thrilled with your hard work and putting some distinctive guidelines around what is going to happen or what needs to happen for a golf cart to go on our streets. So thank you for doing that.
Anybody else? Not, then take the roll.
Lyon,
No.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
No.
Simonson,
Yes.
Rick Earl,
Yes.
Okay, it passes. Item B is a resolution approving and authorizing the conveyance of certain real property to Maquoketa Community School District, subject to vacation of a portion of North Decker Street.
Motion to table.
We have a motion to table this. Second. Seconded by Lyon. If we have no discussion, go ahead and take the roll.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
Rick Earl,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
That passes. Item C is an ordinance vacating the public right-of-way in a portion of North Decker Street west of Block 440 in the original town of Maquoketa and east block of 43 in Decker Edition, and this is the first reading.
Table this one as well.
Yes,
So
thank you.
moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Counselor to table it,
Second.
seconded by Lyon. If there's no discussion, go ahead and take the roll.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
Rick Earl,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item D is a resolution approving fees and charges for city equipment and services.
Mayor, council, thank you. Well, since I've been here, we've kind of piecemealed a couple fee changes as needed, but this is the first truly large, comprehensive fee adjustment. So a few months ago, department heads and myself, we took our entire 4 or 5 page fees resolution, kind of went through it and said, well, we're way behind in this and we're over here, whatever. And we ended up with the chart of requested changes that's on page 6 of this agenda. And so this went to Finance and Personnel Committee for about 3 meetings. We talked out some of these things, and they've been kind of the study in that council committee. The one question that I've continued to receive, and rightfully so, is how does a linear foot calculation of a fence go into this? And so what I've given you in front of you is the value system as Brad would calculate it for a fee permit. So you can see how that linear foot goes into the permit fee formula, and it's not $1,000 fence permit charge. It's 20 for a 100-foot fence, for an example. Same thing for pool square footage, is assigning a square footage value to pools, and then it goes into this permit fee table. So that's how that is assigned. That gave some assurance that we're not over the top on this, but again, I think that even just checking what Horseshoe Pond campsite is nightly versus Bellevue or Maquoketa Cave State Park, we're just slightly behind in those two. That's it. But most of this was checked with other references as well. If you have any questions on this or have any items you'd like looked at or have questions on, let me know, please.
I do. On these building permits,
Yes.
like what you just discussed, Is this how it's gonna be written and proposed to the public? I mean, cause anybody on the outside sees this list here and they're looking, saying, oh my gosh, $25 a square foot for a pool? That's a lot of money. So they're not looking at this other chart. So if this is what we're sharing with the public, I mean, that needs to be changed, because the way that it reads is literally you're asking $15 a linear foot. And, I mean, we just have to have wordage changed on that so it's not confusing, because both of these are contradicting one another.
Right. Yeah, is this in the fees and fines resolution?
Yeah,
This
this is
table?
not changing, it's changing the fence for
Right.
linear foot, but it's not changing anything as far as a new construction or anything. It's so many dollars per square foot, and then you go to this table. So our fees and fines resolution has that table built right in with
That's the question, is where is this table?
it's built
And
right
so if
into
you're-
our resolution.
Yeah, I mean, I could check the website here, but if the question is how to communicate this better, we can. I'll check the website and put those resources into place, but, do you have that resolution handy?
Yeah,
And this
I mean,
table's in it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So you could put some samples,
Sure,
but I don't know that you could, predict every size, but you could certainly put, I'm not good with, 100 linear feet would be this much or whatever, or a pool this size would be this much for a sample. But I don't know that you could specifically get every size of everything in this. This has the
Right.
breakdown.
yeah, but I think I'm hearing that find a way to communicate this better at the front desk, on the website,
Yep.
and refer to that, so if someone's curious about even expanding their property in some way or bettering it, have that understood.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Colister, seconded by Lyon. We have no more discussion. Take the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Simonson,
Yes.
Rick Earl,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Okay, it passes. Item E is an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Maquoketa, Iowa by amending provisions pertaining to water service billing. This will be the first reading.
Mayor, council, just related to the previous item, our ordinance calls out $30 for that door posting, and it should not be in the ordinance. And we intentionally put it into the fees resolution, and the proposed language is just a change to include subject to the fees and fines resolution. That's what the posting value would be. So it goes from 30 to 35 as proposed in this, but in future changes, it don't have to go back to the ordinance each time.
So moved.
A motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Alinger. Any discussion? Take the roll.
Simonson.
Yes.
Rick Earl,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item F is a resolution approving change order number 1, an increase in the amount of $8,500 for the East Water Tower recoding project.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Jen, you want to jump on this one?
Yeah, so they came back with some change orders they wanted us to do. We had 4 of them to pick from. 3 of them were needs or wants, not needs. This is an absolute need. So if you look at the water tower stairs, or the ladder that goes up the side of the water tower, it's got a bundle of cables on it. This is an OSHA no-no, and they need to be taken off of the ladder. I had communicated with our engineer, Kevin, and he came back and said he totally missed this when it got bid out. So it's just changing to get those cables off of the side of the ladder. What they're gonna do is they're going to weld some L brackets off the side. I think it's at every 10 or 12 feet. And those cables will just be moved from the edge. So if somebody's climbing the ladder, they can put both hands on it. Otherwise, they're a cable on one side of it. So that's
So
what it
moved.
is.
Okay, motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Bennett. Any discussion? Take the roll.
Rick Earl,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item G is a resolution approving change order number 4, an increase in the amount of $39,555.99 for the wastewater treatment plant project.
Mayor, Council, I'll be rosy again and just mentioned, I'm still waiting for the tragedy of a huge change order there, but we have a $16 million project with a $39,555 change order, which we've gone on with our Public Works Committee and described some of the various changes there over the last month or two, and what's attached to this amounts to $39,555. Jen, can you talk a little bit about what some of the changes are related to this?
Yeah, so some of the smaller changes, when we changed from a flight pump to the pump we're using now, the heights were different, so they had to get some couplings to put in. The biggest part of this change order, and I don't remember, Josh, what the amount was exactly, 30,000 maybe, was they had to clean the digester, and it was put in the project bid as that was like, once they figured out the amount, it would come out. I mean, it would be a change order. I don't know how you exactly describe that, but that's the biggest part of that. Otherwise, all the rest of them were like 6,000, 5,000. And in every change order, this includes 6 of them, 6 different things, we would come to the Public Works meeting and describe what they were, and they were okay with it, and we just waited till it came, got big enough that we could present it to everyone.
So moved.
Okay, got a motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Rickrell. Any discussion? Then take the roll.
Lyon,
Yes.
Hollister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Item H is approval of the solar project at the airport in the amount of $40,700.
Mayor, Council, we discussed this next 2 items in concept a couple months ago with our Finance and Personnel Committee, and to me, they're kind of exciting. Airport's out on Alliant Energy's district, and you can net meter out there, which means the buyback is pretty good and advantageous. It won't be next year, so if we do delay this item, the savings are gonna be completely different. That's what I'm told, is that we have reached our net metering goals. So, out of 7 bids, Eagle Point Solar has offered $40,700 for 2 panels for our well and runway lights and the corporate hangar. And when you compare what we're currently paying for electric and assume a 3.5% cost increase escalator and weigh that against the savings from solar use out there, plus the metering savings because you're consolidating a couple meters, you come out to $141,425 in savings over 30 years, which in the grand scheme of 30 years in city funds, that's probably not a lot. But to that airport and your commitment to the airport runway and the FAA grant, I think that makes a difference, and every penny counts out that way. So it's an item worth consideration, and I think it's one that has a lot of good value behind it and will prove to be a good project. And the Jackson County Energy District advocated for this with their Finance and Personnel Committee. They did a good job courting bidders on my behalf, and they were a good partner, and they've delivered a good package here to consider with bids ranging from 40 to 77. I think this is a good spread.
Okay. Anybody else?
What's the lifespan, the basic lifespan of one of those solar panels?
They would tell you 30 years. Realistically, I hear 20 years. So anywhere from 20 to 30 years is my answer to you.
Okay, if that's it, no more discussion, take the roll.
Do we have a
Oh,
motion?
we had a motion?
So
Okay, motion by Lyon,
Second.
seconded by Bennett. Now take the roll.
Hollister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
Rickrell.
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
That passes. Item I is a resolution approving a solar project at the water plant in the amount of $91,441.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Similar sort of details, again, 7 bidders ranging from 91 to 155. This one's Blue Sky Solar, though, another reputable company. The savings package is quite large for the water plant, and it was even larger for the wastewater treatment plant, but we just could not reach for that scale of a project because our financing source, WPPI Energy, offers a handsome line of credit at a good term. So we punted that wastewater one down the road just a bit. But this one's for the water plant. It's not a roof mount. We discussed it. I don't know how that makes Jen feel, yay or nay, but it would go on the berm surrounding the water plant on Old Highway 61 and give us the same expected lifespan with the savings plugged right into the water plant. So
What's this insurance line?
The insurance line is who provided insurance as requested in the bid packet. And so when we opened this bid, they did not have one, to be clear. Good question, but they did provide it immediately. We had similar questions on other bidding projects where we deferred to our city attorney for, hey, you didn't have a lobbying certificate signed, and they've chalked it up as a bidding irregularity in the past, and they said, go ahead and pass it on legal counsel advice, and I don't see how this is any different whatsoever.
So moved.
Okay, who made that? Motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Bennett.
Could I get clarification on the berm on the old highway, like where that is exactly?
The elevation height of the water plant, I assume you know where the water plant is. There's a incline, probably 30 feet in length at about a 45-degree angle. And so the proposed placement would be on the one closest to the riverside against the skate park, and then I guess the one facing directly west. So it'd be kind of a right angle placement out that way. And that's what I mean by, I guess, a berm, that they be affixed to those. So they get the south sun, they get the west sun. Just having met every single one of these bidders, they said they'd place these panels in any direction except for the one that starts with N. So that's kind of how they place them.
Okay.
And they could just about get 57 kilowatts on the roof, but then you're talking about packing a lot on the structure and then also having to come down the side and bore in, and they'd rather deal with the ground.
We couldn't have covered the skate park with them and provided some shade for the skaters? That would have been a nice,
True.
all right.
Okay, anybody else, anything else? Okay, take the roll.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Okay, it passes. Item J is a resolution approving change order number 6 for the facade east project in the amount of $12,106.06.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. This is a change order that's already been approved by the owner, and it's been executed. If you do look at what is the former Przakles and soon to be the blacksmith, you can see where the new cinder block was affixed in there, and it took some extra cutting and some extra material and quite a bit of extra time to make this work. And so the city's commitment to this cost is 25% of this 12,106 number, and that's in our bond proceeds currently. It's just a matter of passing this through to council to get it signed off on.
Okay,
So moved.
give it a motion by Lyon,
Second.
seconded by Bennett,
Caroline.
Alinger, excuse me. Alinger. And if we have no discussion, go ahead and take the roll.
Bennett,
Yes.
Simonson.
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item K is a discussion and possible motion approving pay request to number 12 to Tricon Construction in the amount of $848,972.23 for the wastewater treatment plant project.
So moved.
Motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Rickrell. Do we have any discussion?
Negative, Mayor, just this one missed the bills list, and I don't want to leave 848 out of the contractor's hands. It's my recommendation.
Okay, with that said, take the roll.
Simonson.
Yes.
Rickrell,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister.
Yes.
Alinger.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
And it passes. Item I is a resolution approving settlement agreement and mutual release with Stefan Niebel, doing business as Aerial Precision and Ag Air LC. Go ahead.
Well, Mayor, Council, I'll explain this the best I can, and maybe some of your memories are better than mine on this, because this predates me. Aerial Precision was a flight-based operator out of the airport for years, and there was a number of unpaid services and city charges amounting to $21,044 interest accumulated to date. And early '22, when I had arrived, City Attorney Doug Herman had recommended just let us get one more order into the court and just let it sit there forever. And that's effectively what's happened up until a few weeks ago. And the general theory was Mr. Niebel is looking for some sort of financing opportunity and can't get it until he clears whatever's in the court. And so what's in front of you started at first as a $10,000 offer, and it sounded like a negotiation but wasn't called one. And then a couple days later, Doug Herman called back and said, you got 15. I have spoken to the airport commission about this, and it's recommended we take this and then settle this out. And that's what's in front of you tonight.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Lyon,
Second.
seconded by Colister. And if we have no more discussion, take the roll.
Pickerel,
Yes.
Lyon,
Yes.
Colister,
Yes.
Alinger,
Yes.
Bennett, Simonson.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. We make it to item 11, which is reports and communications. Does anybody have anything from the council to report? City manager?
I don't have a lot. It felt like the whole city was under construction last week, and we had at least one surprise visitor. We talked a little bit today at department head meeting about when River City Paving returns to do the mill and fill projects, which is expected in 2 or 3 weeks. It's gonna be fast and painful. And there's gonna be a lot of dump truck help on Public Works' part, a lot of labor hours, a lot of inconvenience, but when it happens, it's gonna be quick. And that's what happened last year, and we took a lot of calls. So if things start happening before the next meeting, just know construction's a good thing, and please let us work through it the best we can. And we'll get notice out there as much as we can too.
Okay. If nobody has anything else to report, I'd accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Colister,
Second.
seconded by Bennett. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned.